So this is the module which will take around 30 class. As per my plan, it will take 30 class, 2 hours each class, and we will be dividing every week. There will be 5 class, Monday to Friday. Friday will only be for revision plus test. So I have kept the revision and the test as the part of the class because I have huge trust on my students that they won't study in the room. And after going from the after few class, you'll forget the concept. And these are such things which cannot be repeated. Notes and everything will be there, but still when there will be moral intuition word will come, then the stars will come. Right? So better to keep the revision part of it, so that along with the last session, that is the Friday, we'll keep 1 hour for revision in my presence, so that if you have any doubt, you can resolve at the same time. And after that 1 hour, there will be 4 questions we will write. You will write with me, and whatever time will be there, we'll discuss those framework and the structure, how we could have written that. So this class is not only will be the lecture, it will include the revision, it will include the test. Okay, so that is going to be the structure of this particular class. Okay. Now about the ethics and governance, we'll see from the 2 point of view. Okay, one is that why it is important. Second is that, what, Charan? You have attended this class? So where are you looking? No, you are looking there. See, mentorship is one thing, but here I am faculty. So you have to be attentive to the class. No, what I am seeing here? You are my old student. That is not expected. So what I was saying, ethics and governance, this both we are including in this. What happened? How did you felt about that behavior of mine? Was it right? What do you think? What do you think? How you felt, Charan? He did nothing, but still I scolded. How did you find that? Was it right or wrong? Judge independently, not like a student and faculty. How do you find that? Right or wrong? Say loudly. Wrong. Anyone among you felt that act by me as right? No one? Charan? Sorry, brother. Did you feel that anyone felt right, whatever I did? That created some mental turbulence in him. He might have felt, what did I do? He might have felt injustice. I mean, it was very small incident, but still some discomfort must have created in his mind. So was it right or wrong? Say, everyone. See, it has to be participative, otherwise you can't internalize ethics. What do you think? What was my act? Was the act of your faculty just 1 minute back was right or wrong? Wrong. On what basis you are saying it was wrong? Huh? Was it written? Should I call Ram sir and did they have given me any guideline that okay, Ajay, you can't shout on any student? Is there any written law on it? As a faculty, I can't shout. Is there any legal provision in the constitution that a faculty cannot shout on his student? Is there any law particularly like the faculty cannot behave like that? No, right? Is it there? No. That means there is no legal basis, there is no written thing that how I should behave in the class, but still you are saying wrong. How? Why? On what basis you are judging that my act was wrong? What is the basis? Just because you felt wrong, that's it. What is the basis?
It's not the way to convey the message.
It is not the way. Who decided that the way? We decided.
Everyone.
See, the fact you understood is that in one, there is no dispute in the class that whatever I did was wrong. There was no dispute. Nobody said that it was right. But in other side, there is no written thing that it was wrong. You can't prove it is wrong. Can you take me to the court and say that the sir was guilty? Not possible. And if you call Sarath sir, faculty, this ethics faculty, first time he came and teaching in this ethics and he's shouting like this, we don't want this faculty. Sir might support me. If I put my stand, sir, I felt like he was not attending, was attentive. So I shouted because I want him to be disciplined so that he will learn the subject properly so that he can clear the exam. My responsibility to make him clear the exam. For that, if I need certain aggressive word, I will use it. I can defend like that. And that way sir might feel independently that okay, Ajay is saying right. But you all are saying wrong. So the things are disturbed now. So what we are getting here is that, see, in our life, many things happens which may not be documented like whether it is right or wrong. But there is a collective or general expectation of the society or individual to behave or act in a manner which might not be written as a law. And that expectation, that standard, that principle which we collectively as a society decide, and that is nothing but what? Ethics. Think on that incident. Think what happened and think how you decided. What actually made you to decide it was wrong? You decided it as wrong because you have certain expectation for the faculty to behave, to talk, right? So that standard, that principle, those expectation, those values, which may not be documented like a constitution or like a code or like a law, but still expected from the society for a harmony, for better well-being, for the better living, for the respect, for the dignity. Those standards, those expectations, those principles and values are nothing but ethics. Clear? So when we define ethics, how we define? Patience, be patient at this point. That's also ethics. See, I am sure every one of you will forget the definition except Charan. Charan will never forget this definition of ethics. Right, Charan? Huh? See, I could not do that other than you. You know me very well from long back, so I targeted you. Sorry for that. It's okay. When it is for the larger good, it's okay. You are going to be civil servant. So the point what we are trying to say here is that these things may not be well defined. Okay. When something is not defined, ethics we understood is that it is expectation, values, principles, standards. These are not defined. Okay, it can change from person to person. As I said, how Sarath sir will see the same incident might be different. The same incident might be judged by any other person from other point of view, thinking that it was done for the benefit of Charan. So in that perspective, it will be right. But when you observed in the class, it is wrong. That means the second thing we understood about ethics is that it is subjective in nature. Clear? That means it's not definite. Yeah, please. feature we got from here. One, it is nothing but the expectation of society or individual or any collective. What we expect to be right, what we expect to be wrong based on certain principles or standards. That is ethics. But the second thing we observed is that it is getting subjective also. For one person it may be right, for another person it may be wrong, same incident. It is because on basis of what they are judging, you guys you judge that incident, that event, whatever event took place just few minutes back, that event you judged, the judgment here, the judgment you made here based on certain principles. Now the question is, how this principle arised? How this principle arise? This principle you developed because of you have certain belief system. Belief is that every person should be respected. One person should not be punished without any guilty mistake. That is the belief we have. That help us to develop the value of justice, value of respect. From the childhood we develop this. How we develop this belief? This belief we develop through upbringing. How you have done the upbringing, right? In what environment you have got the upbringing, what education you have received, right? If you will observe the same thing in North Korea, maybe their education system allow to punish without any crime also. Sometime you must have heard like he used cannon or the just asked to shoot the person. The point is, there may be the education is such that which is considered acceptable. Why during the Hitler period people were justifying putting the people inside the gas chamber? Why they justified? Because the upbringing, the values which was created by Hitler through his speeches, change in the education, made their belief such that these Jewish people or any person who is physically challenged or transgender does not have any right to live. So killing them is right. How they justified? Based on what belief they developed, that made their values what is right or wrong, and that helped them to judge the event. Now that event judgment, whether it is right or wrong, based on the principle they are applying. If I tell you the crux of the whole ethics you will study will be around this, and this will help you to draw the flow diagrams also. Our actions to judge whether it is right or wrong will depend on our value or principle. This principle gets developed through what belief we have. This belief depends on what kind of upbringing we got, what kind of education we got, what kind of religion we have, what kind of political philosophy we follow. Many things impact this belief system, and this belief gets reflected through our action. That means when you judged my action against Charan, when I shouted on him, I scolded without any reason, you said this action was wrong, sir. You did that because you have the values of that justice without any reason. How can you scold? Even if that person is faculty, even that person is district collector, even that person is prime minister, how can he punish one person without doing anything? So that justice is the principle which we develop through our belief and the what kind of education and the upbringing we have received. Clear? So ethics, see these all notes and everything we'll get. This is not the class. Class 1 will be on the right. I will ask you to write and everything. This is, you will get an idea why we are discussing this. To get an idea what ethics is. Ethics is not law. Law is written thing, but ethics are the general expectation which can vary. Now if some person commits murder, Now there is clear defined law under the IPC. You can't say one person saying no, he murdered, it was right, but another person saying no, murder, okay, he had some issue, so he murdered. No, you can't justify like that because that's the written one. But in ethics, it's not like that. Clear? So that is ethics. Now the question is, why ethics has been included in the UPSC? That's a major question before entering into the syllabus what they are keeping. Now suppose there is suppose one let's say that the one old lady is there. She is struggling for getting that ration card, you know ration card, PDS card, for last 6 months. So she has now no option other than reaching the district collector because she is not being heard. So district collector sitting in the office, big office, you know that the with wooden flooring, big chair, the glass table, you imagine yourself like that. Huh? So in their written of the different district collector historically are there Jila Dandadhikari, district Hyderabad. This is written and that is the scene. The old lady comes. She comes, she is standing there. So the collector is busy in the files, signing files and this thing. So what she did is that she sat on the chair. The moment she sat, the district collector shouted on her. How can you sit like this? She shouted, he shouted on her. Without asking, who asked you to permission? कौन बोला तेरे को बैठने के लिए? बूढ़ी अनपढ़ औरत. मैं बोला तेरे को बैठने के लिए. He started shouting. Now you can't punish district collector because he did that. Is it written somewhere? No. Law doesn't say. Nowhere it will be trained that when she will come you have to talk like this. Then what will make the district collector to respect that old lady? So that he talk with that old lady in a dignified manner. Is it required or not? It is required because she is also a citizen. Before that she is a human being and human being cannot be treated in an undignified manner without any mistake. And since she is a vulnerable woman, she deserves more empathy, care and compassion. And for a civil servant, it becomes more important because this is the responsibility of a civil servant to ensure the development, not only economic, but also their social, their emotional development. To treat them with dignity, respect and those things. That's the more important and that's why this ethics subject was included in 2013. To ensure that because you can't guide a civil servant through law. Every step you can't define how they are doing. So there will be the general expectation from a civil servant to behave in professional, in ethical manner. And that is the expectation from civil servant and that's why we have this subject to train the future civil servant, the aspirant to be aware about the ethics. And ultimately, I told this again and again, we want, our India wants civil servant with not only head, having the brain, but also the people who are having the kind heart towards the poor people. So that they can work for the development rapidly along with the inclusivity. They think not only for the high growth, but also whether the last person in the society is getting developed in that process or not. That can only be ensured if a civil servant is thinking empathetically towards those who are disadvantaged and vulnerable. And that is the requirement, that is the reason why this ethics paper is there. And that's why for us, not only from clearing this exam point of view, but also to in our life and to become a civil servant, not only like with a big brain, very smart person, but also an person with empathy and compassion. Okay, so we'll keep this, that's why this motto is very clear. Where is it? That we have to be ethical in our actions, along with we have to learn to write ethical because we have to pass this exam also. And if you are not able to write your ethics on the paper, you'll fail. And if you fail, then you won't get that opportunity of being ethical, having the head and heart to implement at the ground. So writing is also important. So since now we understood ethics, right? Overview, why what is ethics? It's nothing but the general expectations. It can change with the time, with the space, with the person to person, because it's a subjective. Now, why it is important? For the citizens, it's important to build good relation. Along with that, for civil servant, it becomes more important because they have the responsibility to do that. Right? Now, let's when we understood the ethics, now let's understand the importance of ethics as for the in terms of clearing the exam. See, we are here not to become ethical. You all are ethical because you're choosing this profession. I consider that. What you need more than that is that how to clear this ethics paper, how to score ethics paper. So, sir, lecture, drama, everything is okay. Just tell us how to clear this exam. So, let's come to, we'll include that also, don't worry. So, this is 2024 marks of the toppers. That is well segregated thanks to Captain Dugot. They have compiled this. So, you see the Sakti Dubey ma'am, the first ranker, her GS4 score is 141. How much? 141. This is the highest. Second highest 131. Now, see the GS1 top score 112. GS2 125. GS3 108. Yesterday's class I told what I told, double E and double O. Optional score C 170, 147, 150 also. SAC 144, 139, 123, 130. Double E, double O. See the top marks and see the GS1, GS2 and GS3 top marks. Now you believe what I was saying? Can you see that? So ethics have the potential to give you very high mark. One mark sheet I want to show you. This is Visakha ma'am, 2019 topper, 6th rank I think, 6th or 7th rank. See her marks in essay 132. See this 132. Here 102 average. Below average you can say general GS2 121. GS3 93 only, less than average. Okay, optional also very less, only around 146, 246, right? Very less, not 300. See this mark. It took her to top 10, that one subject. 162, you cannot imagine that even in optional it's very difficult. But this paper, if you write in a proper manner, it can give you. Okay, so that is the importance of this subject in terms of examination. What it can give you if you put sufficient effort to this subject. And that's why you saw two subjects till now I have taken. One is essay. This is my second, that is the ethics. In essay you see the marks, how it is important. And I am really proud that you all have that idea now, writing essay. I see more excitement in you when this essay test comes than the class test, because now you have the idea how to write. And believe me, we are going in right direction. Essays are considered least important. People think we can write, but you see the marks, based on that you decide your strategy, what you want, whether our strategy is right or not. We completed essay, now we are going into the ethics, because these two are scoring, right? So that is the belief on the process we are following in the classes and the mentorship. This is aligned with what UPSC is expecting or what UPSC is giving. It is completely aligned with that. Okay, so that is the thing. Now let's understand. Oh, okay, sorry. When I converted in PDF, it became small. Actually, it is nothing but UPSC syllabus. This is UPSC syllabus. I'll show you again. This is APPSC syllabus. Exactly similar. Same terms they have taken. Ethics and human interface, essence, determinants, consequences. Ethics and in human interface, essence, determinants and consequences. They have taken from the UPSC syllabus only, but they have reduced some part. So if you cover the UPSC ethics syllabus, APPSC Group 1 ethics syllabus, no doubt it will be completed. You can compare both of them. Okay, this is TGPSC syllabus. Here syllabus is less, only one question they are asking. But still this part, ethics and values of administration, neutrality, these all things will be covered under the ethics and governance. They have merged the ethics and governance syllabus. Okay, so some part this is governance, this will also be covered, and this part also be covered within this. So if you are attending this class in this 30 days, your ethics syllabus of TGPSC, APPSC as well as the UPSC will be clear. Okay, just is that clear? So now see, syllabus of UPSC they have given in a organized manner, but for our class I have created this 9 modules. Okay, the same syllabus only, please give it to her. Not required, I don't know. So this is the syllabus we will be following. We have segregated them into 9 modules. Every module will cover one test on a weekly basis, and I have rearranged also them considering the interrelationship and the similarity of topics. Based on that I have rearranged them, and 2 new chapter I have created based on the analysis of PYQ. So based on the content and based on the what type of questions UPSC is asking, I have reorganized them and created 2 new chapters, especially this applied ethics and philosophers, because philosophies play a very important role in writing answers, and that's why we will be covering this as a new subject, new topic, separate topic. Okay, how many of you didn't get the syllabus? Okay, they are bringing. Okay, just those who will be joining this will be part of these classes regularly. We are creating one Telegram channel for ethics, because I have to share resources regularly. After every class I will be providing the handouts, question papers as well as the answers which I will write with you. That will be shared with that channel. So it will be on Telegram, and this syllabus will also be there. Those who won't get can get it, and I have also have the list of quotes which I will share today. Those who have not received yet, I think I shared with some of the printed quotes topic wise. With whom I shared then? Nobody received the topic wise quotes. No one here. You have received, right? So the printed copy after that essay. Yes. So initial that after the first essay class only I had shared. So that list, that is the topic wise, and that includes both essay topic as well as the ethics topic. For example, if the question is on corruption, what quote you can use to write conclusion or intro, that quote topic wise it is there. And since you know that you are writing essays, there also we can use at the beginning, at the end, or in between also quotes. So same quote will be useful to write them there also. So these quotes which is there in topic wise will be helpful for you to write those answers. So see, let's understand the syllabus, how they have how it has been framed. Just 5 minutes, and then we'll move to next part, how the class will be. See, the first is the ethics and human interface. Understand, then we'll understand the PYQ, and then we'll understand the what should be the strategy, whether you join this program or not. I mean, what can be the strategy to cover this ethics. See, first part is ethics and human interface. Basically, it will talk about what is the relationship between ethics and human action, because ethics applies on the action. If you are not taking any action, just you are sleeping at home, there is no ethics involved. One ethics you can apply there is that you are a young person, you have the responsibility of your parents, but you are sleeping. That's unethical, because as a person you have the responsibility towards your parents, right? So you are not taking that responsibility. From that point of view, ethics can be involved. But the question is, here they have used human interface. They have not used non-human. So can we call the action, suppose you are walking on the Ashok Nagar street. Earlier during my mains, I used to wake up very early around 4:30. So I had to go to study hall. But I used to fear, you know to whom? Dogs. In Ashok Nagar, dogs are like, they're getting, I think, good food. So they're healthy. But in our Chhattisgarh, that much healthy dogs are not there. So I used to fear to go like that. Now suppose I am walking and going to the study hall and one dog came and he attacked me. It's wrong, right? It's wrong. How the dog can attack I am going to study, read ethics and serve the society, country. I am going for noble cause, but that dog is not understanding. Can we call the dog action as unethical? Okay, let's change and now let's go back to before 1947. That time cheetah were also there. Suppose cheetah is roaming here, forest is there, and he attack a human. Will you call the action of cheetah unethical? Or the tiger's action unethical? No, that's their nature. But when human being is coming and he attacks you, that become illegal as well as unethical. So the point here is that ethics does not involve actions of non-human. Ethics is the subject for human. So the actions of human are considered as ethical or unethical, not animals. A 4-year kid came and he started attacking me. No, that's impractical, but still imagine I am very simple, very like that person. Even a child is coming and beating me. That also cannot be considered unethical because that child is not aware what is right and what is wrong. So when you are aware about something, that's why you have this Nirbhaya case. Why there is less punishment for that minor person? Because there are ethics involved. That the minors have the less understanding about what is right and what is wrong. So that's why you have the juvenile, different justice system for the children, but the different for the adults. Right? So the actions of kids are also not considered as ethical or unethical in that manner. So the point here is that consciousness is required. You are aware about the what is right and wrong. That part will come into the when we'll cover the ethics. But the point here is that ethics and human interface, not animal. That's why this word. Now here we cover about ethics, moral, what is the difference, human values, what is the meaning of value, what is the difference between ethics and values, determinants of ethics, very small difference is there, more or less the similar. How the ethics is determined, as we now you got also upbringing, education, religion, those things. Role of family, society, educational institution in inculcating values. That is there. Ethics in private and public relation, essence. Why? What if you are following ethics? How is the consequence? What it helps? How it helps? What are challenges in the present time in ethics? Then the philosophers. Dimensions of ethics, contribution of moral thinkers and philosophers from India and world. So Indian philosophers like Gandhiji, Vivekananda, those things will cover along with the Western philosophers like Aristotle, Socrates and those. How and what they have talked about ethics. This is very important because they create basis to justify our action. Because here we understood there is nothing wrong or right. There is always subjectivity is there. So when you are taking a stand, you have to say the basis. On what basis you are saying it is right? On what basis you are saying it is wrong? So in those cases, philosophers become important because we quote Gandhiji or we quote the Aristotle said in his theory of what is his name? There is the middle theory, the theory of Madhyam Marg in Buddhism. Similar is there in the Western philosopher Aristotle, Immanuel Kant. They have also given doctrine of mean. So mean. So we use those philosophy to justify our action. That's why this is important. Next is lessons from the lives and teachings of the great leader, reformers, administrators. Here we cover some important administrators like MS Swaminathan, Verghese Kurian, APJ Abdul Kalam. They are the leaders, right? What we can learn. those will help us to write the examples also for our points what we write. You must have heard in ethics we have to substantiate our point with examples. So what was done by those administrators, how they stood against the corruption and the injustice, those example, few things we cover, few topics which will be common in using different answers. Then miscellaneous. One thing I am telling you right, otherwise I'll forget maybe. You have to bring one pencil when you will come to the class. That I tell to my old students also, because I expect, that's just a suggestion, you can do that, is that you write examples in pencil. Why? Because examples get updated. You might get the new example also later on. Suppose you are giving in 2027. So during that period might be the new example, new incident, new ethical issues will arise. So that you can erase that and you can update your example. So that's why I ask you to write in the pencil, right? Because here I will give examples, but that may get outdated over the time. Suppose you give in the next year, that's why. And also when you are covering, when you are doing this thing, making notes, that's also is important. Suppose you are making your notes, please leave spaces, top, bottom, and this you should do. Like the UPSC also wants you to write like this. Try to do that. At least one side you should keep some space. That again help you to update your notes. Right? If you don't want to make again notes, because ethics is a subject you don't need to make again and again notes. Right? Whatever you will cover from the class, that would be sufficient, just the addition you can make. If you don't want to make your own notes, you can rely on the class notes, that you will understand, you can rely also. So my suggestion is to keep some space at the end so that you can update, new point you can add. Okay, so these two things about the notes making. Next is the philosopher is done applied ethics. You see 2025 paper. This is the syllabus which I am giving from 2023 when I taught for this. This is going to be 5th batch. This is the same thing. Last year also I taught. And if you see one thing, if you want the UPSC questions in the syllabus, please go to the UPSC website. Then here go to the examination. Here everything you will get that the previous year question papers. These are the Indian Forest Service this year paper already uploaded. This is CSE paper. These are optionals and these are the GS. And now let's see GS 4 paper. If you see GS 4 paper, see the topic constitutional morality and see the syllabus. The first topic I covered was constitutional morality. Those who have covered my class, previous class, they know this is the topic, it will be there in their notes. Constitutional morality. Now second C. Next question. See this. War is a diplomacy by other means. Critically analyze the above statement in the present context of contemporary geopolitics. Basically this question is on war ethics. Now see this, the second topic. Third topic, war ethics. Third. See this. This is on the ethical dilemma related to controversies, environmental clearance and development. It's nothing but environmental ethics. Now the question is here, sir is claiming that question came from his note. No, it's not. I'm not claiming here. It's you can say but it's also not coincidence. It is strategic. Why? Because from last 2 years we are hearing war, war and war. Starting from this Russia-Ukraine war, then this Palestine-Israel conflict. So it was expected. You can expect that the question, what is the ethical issues are involved in the war? They can ask. Similarly, constitutional morality was the previous year question also. Previously they have asked, but in GS2. Since morality word is there, I found it is more relevant in the ethics. And this year they asked on the ethics. And environment, because of that Nicobar project, Andaman Nicobar project, yesterday also we discussed. Because of that, that was highly predictable. That development and environment conflict, how will you resolve? So the point here is that even if you are preparing by yourself, be aware about what is happening. Social media, now the deep fake, AI, voice cloning, these are the emerging issues, and how ethics is involved in these things. So that might be the next year question, and we should cover them. Right? So the understanding of the, because UPSC wants whether you are able to evolve, what is the ethics in AI? That's a very important question now. Right? Climate change, what ethics are involved in these all things. So next is the, this is a chapter I have created separately, because you see the question how they are asking. Along with that, bioethics, then technological ethics like AI will be covered here. Ethical issues in international relations. This is the topic mentioned in the syllabus, but I am keeping it here because it is the application of ethics in international relations. So applied. Next is the corporate governance, business ethics, nothing but the business ethics. That means how the ethics can be involved in the businesses. Now there is conflicts are going on in a Tata groups. Have you heard? After the death of Ratan Tata, there is dispute in the Tata groups. So what issues are involved there? That issue came in the picture. Right? So those current affairs we need to add in our class. Otherwise ethics will be dead subject. We need to see the what is happening right now from the ethical point of view. Whether it is polity, economy, history, whether it is history also, changing NCERTs. What is ethics involved there? Right? So everything can be seen from the ethical point of view. Next is the public. This is the most important part. And most of the question you will expect from here. Public and civil service values and ethics in public administration. As I said in the intro only, that how ethics is important, what problems are happening, what is the status of ethics currently, how law, rule, regulation act as source of ethical guidance. These all things will cover under this. Next is aptitude and foundational values for civil service. Aptitude means your ability to do something with the efficiency or proficiency. You are very good in something. Like you are very good in singing. That's your aptitude. Right? You are like the Virat Kohli is very good in hitting cover drives. So that's his skill. Other cricketers are also there, but he is having mastery in that. A straight dive of Sachin Tendulkar, he was having that aptitude. Despite other cricketers are also there, they are not able to do in that. The pull shot of Ricky Ponting, nobody can match that. So the point is your ability to do certain thing in a, high efficiency or the proficiency, that creates your aptitude. It's a potential. But if you won't practice, if Virat Kohli says that I am very good in cover drive, I don't need to practice, just give me the fourth ball where I am getting out again and again. So then what will happen is that ability will degrade. And that's why here aptitude of civil servants. Communication skill, and that will be one of the focus area for me. Be ready to participate. If you won't participate, don't come to the class. Okay, you have to participate. There will be certain activities, it will be the part of it, and I want you to participate. That is UPSC asking you. Aptitude, required communication skill, how you will communicate with the interview board and then the people. Break that inertia, break that, you have to come forward, and you need to learn to speak, and this is very few people. The humiliation is in the Labasna, and so many will be there if you won't be able to get that initiative, right? So it won't be like the everyday, but sometimes we'll definitely include those activities, some subgroup activities, because it is required more reflection. So this is aptitude of what aptitude are required for civil servant, what are the foundational values like integrity, impartiality, objectivity, dedication, and these all things. Next is attitude. Attitude is also like the attitude generally we hear from the negative point of view. Like he is showing attitude, she is showing attitude. But what is the actual psychological meaning of attitude, that we'll learn in this. And what kind of attitude is required, that bureaucratic attitude, political attitude, moral attitude, this all thing is covered under this. And how you can change the attitude of a person. That is also there. That yesterday I took class, na? So yesterday I went salon. So so actually that person, that the salon owner, he offered tea. He offered tea. He was having tea and he offered tea actually. So these are the actually tricks. You go to the clothes shop, okay, to purchase some clothes. Then you want to buy one T-shirt. 200 rupees you have in your pocket. Then they will offer you tea. You didn't like any T-shirt, but still now you will have to buy because they offered you tea. Now there will be compulsion that he has offered. Now he will think like I came for tea. Your mind will be the pressure. The mind will act. There will be pressure like I have to buy something, at least 100 rupees, something. That's nothing but the marketing tactic. Limited edition, only 5 seats, only 50 seats for ethic module. So these are nothing but to pressurize the person to purchase, to think that something is limited. Now I have to purchase, otherwise it will be gone. Only 5 iPhone is left. Papa, send me 1,50,000, just 5 is left, then it will become 2 lakh. That actually these are nothing but to create that pressure, change the attitude. Earlier I had no attitude to purchase that iPhone, but when I saw that its price has declined, I'll feel like okay, this is the only chance I can get the iPhone. So my attitude can change. This is for business. Same thing you can apply in the civil services. That is the positively. How they do that? The parents were not agree to send their kids to get the polio drop. So what they did, the government did, they introduced Amitabh Bachchan, Do Boon Zindagi Ki. So he has huge influence on our parents, not on us that much. Now the influence is on the new heroes, new superstars. But at that point of time, he was our parents they were like the role model. Now Amitabh Bachchan is saying, so that will create a persuasion to change the attitude towards that polio drop. And that way we encourage the people, especially in the rural area and other area, to adopt that. What we are doing is changing the attitude of the people, and that's why this chapter, how you change the attitude of the people towards something. As a civil servant, you have to do that. Now SIR is going on, if people are protesting, how you change their attitude from negative to positive in SIR. Right? Suppose you have to implement that vaccine drive during COVID-19. There were news, I was there in 2020 in field only. So people were thinking, Dada, ye lagayenge, then we will be sick. I won't get child. Like that thinking are there. Now how will you break that? You have to break the attitude of the people. Now how you will do that? Using some technique of persuasion. Right? So that thing has to be learned, and in this chapter you are going to learn that all. Then you have emotional intelligence. This is very important for us also as aspirant. Very important. How you control your emotions. Right? How you control your emotion when you are thinking that when the 4 o'clock will be there and then I'll go out and have tea. That emotion is coming. How you control that? That's nothing but the emotional intelligence. You are getting aware, okay, something is happening, but this is important. Not right now, but after 6-7 months it will be important. So let me be here. In exam hall more, I told you initial 4 question, I keep telling me that half an hour when the 9:30 will be there and 9 you enter to exam hall, that half an hour you are just looking each other. You're sitting in the exam hall reading prelims, and what happens is, you get the question paper. During that time, the first question you read science and tech question. I don't know anything. I went to second question. I don't know anything. Third question, not getting answer. Now I started, oh my God, gone. The 4th attempt also gone. If you did that, if your emotion captured you, that it's gone now, I am not even getting the first 3 questions. 4th question also not getting. It creates a lot of pressure. Seriously, in the exam hall you will sit and you will experience that. You will start judging whether I will clear or not. And that is the moment you have to keep telling. UPSC is smart. They keep the tough question at the beginning to check your mental caliber. So be aware. UPSC is playing with me. My polity question will come. Just wait, my polity question, where this fundamental right? I'll solve, because that is favorite for people. We get the marks there. So you have to keep telling, my polity economy, where is my polity economy? So keep telling. You have to do that. Right? So that's nothing but emotional intelligence. When you are aware, your emotion, this is happening, I have to be aware about it. And that's very important for civil servant. Sitting in the district office, 10 politician rowdies came in front of you. Hey collector, what you are doing? And then you started shaking, then okay, done. They will get sanction of 10 crore rupees from you. The point is there also you have how you are becoming calm, controlled. That's the emotional intelligence, and very important in civil services. Then next is the probity in governance. This is nothing but the same governance syllabus and probity syllabus. I have clubbed them. Some of the topic from the governance I have added here. These are not mentioned, but I have added here so that we cover both from ethics and the governance in the same. You won't have the separate notes for the governance. Same notes will be used for the governance as well as the ethics. Okay, so that you don't have to study into, because topics you go through the governance topic, ethics, similar topics are there, same topics are there. So that's why we have included it. Case studies, there are two options, either we cover at the end or we cover along with the topics, because they have written case studies on above issue. That is, they can ask case studies based on this also, based on this also, based on attitude also, based on emotional intelligence also. So it's better if we can cover the case studies along with this. You will be able to understand things in better way. Most of the classes, in my previous classes also, I have covered case studies in later part. But if you see the syllabus, the 250 mark, 130 will be theory and 120 mark will be case study. Almost half. 6 case studies, each with 20 mark. If you do good in a case study, you can score very good. So what I have decided is that I will keep it along with the class, along with the topic, so that along with that only we will keep understanding the case studies. Okay, so that will be the part of it. Any doubt here? What doubt? We have not started it. This is the previous year question. See, read the first question. It is believed that adherence to ethics in human action would ensure in smooth functioning of an organization or system. If so, what does ethics seek to promote in human life? How do ethical values assist in the resolution of conflicts faced by him in his day-to-day functioning? What the hell is this? I mean, initially you said, sir, ethics and human interface, but it is talking London and looking Tokyo. So the point is, see the question, complex, they are making things complex. First, read the second. Explain the basic principle of citizen charter movement and bring out its importance. Hold on, read the third. The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitude. William James. This question is from 2025. Wait, fourth question. Oh my god. This was nothing but the case study. Sorry, I copied, that's why it could not come in a proper way. So basically what they do is that they give a case and they ask us to give what option you are having. Suppose they will say you are a superintendent of police, SP of one CRPF unit in Bastar. Now what has happened is that you got intelligence from the IB that there are Naxal activity, Naxals have gathered at one place in one village, in the remote village. Now you got that intelligence, you took your battalion and you captured those, I mean you surrounded those, what you say, the Naxals. You surrounded them. So what has happened is that here the Naxals are there, here this is a complete forest. This is a complete forest and your battalion has surrounded them. Okay. Now the question how they ask is that you are the commander here. The Naxals are there, they are celebrating or they are doing some event. But along with the Naxals, there are tribals, people having the children. Children are also there, women are also there, and innocent people are also there. Now they will ask you whether you will give command to your officers, your soldiers to start shooting or not. Now see, here there is no right or wrong. It's all about how you justify your stand. There is one school which says that since they have the weapon, the Naxals have the weapon, what if they start shooting your soldiers? Who is responsible for them? What about their family members? What about their children, their wives or husbands? If you will don't allow thinking that okay, there are children, there are women, that's one school of thought. One officer can have that thought. The second school of thought or the second thinking is that okay, children are there, let's back off, let's abandon the operation. Okay, now these two are there, which you will adopt. Question will come. Okay, we don't need answer, you will get the answer. What the point here is that this is the kind of cases they give, and here we don't have to give like the every time like one stand. Here you will say like you will ask them to surrender, or you will communicate with them, something middle path you will try to achieve. If that you are not achieving, then you will say that if still they start firing, we won't be having any option other than start firing. So there will be the different cases like this which they will ask what options you are having. They won't then which option you will choose and why. What ethical issues may arise here, how you will resolve them, like that question they ask in the case study, and 20 mark, 4 pages they give. Now these are the 4 type of question you will get. The first type of question, this is the first type of question in which the question type is complex. Complex in the sense they will ask you to analyze, they will ask you to interlink things. These are, I feel personally, very tough. The second type of question is like a GS answer, GS2, GS3, GS1 like answer. So they will give the direct, see they are directly asking the basic principles of citizen charter. So we can copy paste our notes. There will be questions like this, especially from the governance topic, in the probity in governance, and some of the topic direct question will be there. Third type of question is they will give the quote, 3 quotes they will give, and they will ask you what do you understand by these quotes in present context. This is third type of question. Fourth type is case study. So in overall ethics there are 4 type of question. Now when there are 4 different pattern of questions are there, you can't adopt same strategy for all. Now when you go for the exam or when prepare, you need to evolve a different strategy to tackle this 4 type of question. How I prefer is the first 3 question I write like this, because initial questions are like this only. Then I go to this kind of question because these are scoring. You can fill the pages easily because you are copy pasting your notes. Then later on you can come back. And this requires more thinking. We'll apply that thesis, antithesis and synthesis. That framework we will apply in this. That we will have the code based questions discussion that time. In the case study we need to have 10, I have 10 different templates, different topics like environment versus development, sexual harassment at workplace cases, child abuse cases, corruption cases, work culture cases, like that different type of cases UPSC ask. So that if we are having the template for each, what ethical issues, what ethical dilemma, what course of action can be taken, we can make that more, you can say that the predictable, so that we can save our time in the case studies. Okay, so that is going to be the strategy. Here we rely more on the notes. Understanding requirement is less. Like e-governance, what do you understand by e-governance? What are its features, significance, challenges? What do you understand by good governance? What are its principles? What is a citizen charter? What are the challenges? What do you understand work culture? What are the principles? These are direct questions. Less important, I mean the efforts will be less, but scoring. These are difficult questions. These requires more understanding and internalization. They will link the ethics with any topic, like war they are interlinking. And what you will write, that becomes difficult. Those are not direct questions. So here requires more effort. Here we will need more understanding about the question, addressing all parts holistically. It requires more answer writing, more internalizing and more understanding. This type of question. This type notes dependent. This like essay. Essay also we get the quotes and we are able to write, we can write this also. Not an issue. Case study is all about the structure, framework, because you have to write 4 pages. So that way we will tackle these 4 aspect, 4 different type of questions separately. These are some samples of the handout which I have. This I made for myself. So here we will be having the intro like a definition, then different aspect of that question, and then quotes. Not in every question. Every question you can't write quote, na? It will be like the kid has mug of everything and just writing everywhere. So in some question, but we can write the quotes. So that quote will give small, like this ecocide recently Belgium declared it. So some current affairs also we'll try to add, and what values. So this will be for your reference. But I will ask you to follow this more. This is from my class notes. One student sent, but his handwriting is not very good. But still, what I wanted to show is that it will be more flow diagrams. Okay, because what input or the feedback I got from the student is that when it is in the form of flow diagram, it is more helpful to understand as well as present our points, because the explanation you anyhow you will get here if you don't get it, but the class notes will try to make in a flow diagram. Not every aspect can be made in the form of flow diagram, that's not possible, that's not required also, but most of the time we will try to include this kind of flow diagrams which can be used in our answer. And not only the flow diagram but also the philosophers, how to use those things. This is the note, this is the class note, and I will also make sure that you use them. I can give you the flow diagram, but the question demand may be different. You can't copy paste same flow diagram in the exam. So what is required is you learn to draw flow diagram. You have to learn that, and that you will learn through answer writing. When I will write, you will write. If I make flow diagram and how the question can be made. See, this is not the exact flow diagram which I have prepared, but as per the demand of the question, I had to modify it to create this. Similarly, in case of this also, this nowhere mentioned in my my notes, but I could create it. Citizen administration. They ask about the here. What they ask is, citizen often moral dilemma when reporting corruption, irregularities, local administration due to the fear of black. How can ethical environment be fostered? Now they ask the ethical environment. This is new word, not mentioned in the syllabus. Now I thought let's create an ethical environment. This is ethical environment where citizen administrators are there, and around this, what is that? That biotic factor, abiotic factor, and around that some temperature, light, pressure, humidity. That's environment. Nah? So what will be the ethical environment? Okay, so citizen is there, administrator is there, there is media, there is education, there is family, there is values, code of ethics, law, constitution. They create the ethical environment, isn't it? So that is the diagram we can use to represent those things. And sometimes the philosophers are, which I was telling, like the philosophers are very important, like utilitarianism, J.S. Mill, here Aristotle, moral duty theory. See, I told yesterday my answers were going like this. These are the answers when I was at the initial 2025 only. When I initially started writing for 2025 mains, my the presentation was not that apt. I was not able to follow that. Then later on I started changing. Okay, how to write the introduction, articles, constitution will be very useful. Please, articles, some articles, very important articles are there, especially DPSP, fundamental duty, these two, and fundamental right. These three. This article from article 13 till article 51A. Please remember. Try to remember them. Not yeah, those are very important. From GS2 also, here also, we'll use them in our ethics answer. That much only. Other things like there are ARC's report, second ARC, and there are some new report came of Niti Aayog about ethics. Those things will add gradually, but those articles are very important to write. Okay, so these were the, as I explained already, the structure of the class also. It will include both things, that is the classes. The 5th day we will try to revise whatever we have studied in 4 days, along with the writing test on the 5th day. So you know that my focus will always on the writing. I give the focus, so that will be the part of it. Okay. So anything you want from your side to be added during the class, or any other expectation from your side for ethics and governance module, you can also share. Okay, so we'll close the class. Before that, there is one advertisement from my side. Not for me, but for people of Bastar. Actually, the Bastar is very unpopular because of this Naxalism issue. And I also used to think the same way for those people. When I got my offer letter during campus placement, I got the Pradhan NGO. And there when I got first time my offer letter, I was praying like I should not get Tokapal Bastar. Because we also fear to go that. We heard very negativity about the Bastar. But those people, when I got the Bastar only then. So I went somehow, everyone was refusing. I saw the different Bastar from my eyes. I was there for 4 years. I stayed with the people. I stayed in their home. I participated in their culture. I sang with them. I danced with them. I eat their food. Even that chapra chutney. Have you heard? Ant chutney got GI tag. Na? So that is also for them that is a chakna. You know chakna? With alcohol you have to eat something. So that creates the chakna for them. That is that will be spicy, na? So they use that. So they have their traditional alcohol. With that they will be having the chutney of that ant, red ant, and so they will drink and then will eat that. So that Odisha got the GI tag for that. Basically they don't have. See, here we have the demarcation for the district and other thing, but for them that is Dandakaranya. When you see the Chhattisgarh, this region is called as Dandakaranya, which includes this whole region, which includes Odisha also, parts of Andhra Pradesh, parts of Telangana, Maharashtra. This whole area is called as Dandakaranya. And for Naxals, that is the benefit. They have their own boundary. For them, they want to create the Dandakaranya as their own country kind of thing. So whenever the Chhattisgarh police used to have the operation, they used to come to Telangana. Whenever Andhra Pradesh police is conducting the operation, they are hiding in forest of Chhattisgarh, because for them there is no border. So that's why this region have that chapra chutney, and Odisha got that GI tag for that. And so what is that? See, I can't share those things. That is a huge journey. Some other time we'll do that. But if you are interested in reading about the tribals, reading about governance, and reading about this grassroots developmental activities, NGO functioning, SSGs, these things, you can read these articles. This is one article which I wrote in 2021 with my colleague Arpan, Accelerating Change Through Government CSO Collaboration, Field Experience from Bastar. In this article, you can get understanding about what is the relationship between the government and the non-government organizations. How both can collaborate together and bring change at the grassroots level. Generally, NGOs are considered anti-government. They criticize government. But when they collaborate, both can address the problems in more uniform and the coherent manner. So that how we collaborated, this is our district collector, Rajat Bansal sir, Janpad Jila Panchayat CO, IS Chandrawal sir, the Janpad Panchayat CO. This is the women who are presenting the project which we did, irrigation project. So this is the article in the article form published. I'll share the link also. If you want to read, you can read this. The second article is on this, I wrote only 2020, Changing Farmlands of Darbha, how agriculture we changed through introduction of technology and the high valued farming technologies. On that experience I have written this. This is also there in the Google. If you search this Changing Farmlands of Darbha, or if you search Ajay Gupta Bastar, you will get it. Similarly, this is the article which published in Agriculture World. So this is one of the international magazine which took my article. I wrote during the COVID along with my colleague. We wrote this during the Corona time, like how the intervention in tribal smallholder post-COVID scenario, because a lot of anti-migration was happening. People, tribals from the Bastar region used to go to Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, different region. During Corona, you know how the migrants came back to their home. There was a huge flood of the migrants going back to home because their job lost. So that time we were in the Bastar and we were seeing that the tribals from forests, different places, they are coming to the villages. Now the issue is what livelihood you will give to them. During that time we demonstrated this idea and we wrote this, and we sent to different platform, and in agriculture world they published this. In 2023 main interview they asked like what innovation we can do in Manrega. And our topic, our solution was how we can use the Manrega as a tool innovatively to address this challenge. So that I shared there also, and then appreciated also that one. And this was one of the success, you can say inspirational story of tribal women. These are the Gond tribe women which are there in the Bastar, how they brought, they fought the Gram Panchayat and for their own building, SHG women. This also I wrote I think in 2020 or 21. And this is a small YouTube channel, not of mine. You can say that the stories and some of the videos of Bastar people are there, some good videos. If you want, you can check and you can understand what grassroots is. You can also get some videos on those work on irrigation, agriculture. Those who are thinking about agriculture optional, for them they should see this. And even if you want to understand the governance in more closely, you can see some of the videos how the government and CSO collaborate together and how they can bring change. And one of the initiative that the first article I am showing now, this was sent for Prime Minister Excellence Award, this project, because it we mobilized initially one project 5 lakh, but later on collectors have sanctioned 1 crore rupees for 40 places. So that project was nominated by district administration to send for the Prime Minister Excellence Award in governance, in the livelihood segment. Recently you must have heard like some of the IAS officer got best IAS award. So it is that competition only, because in the district level, district collector is the head. So whatever is done in the district, it is under his leadership. So that project went on the name of district collector. So this was some of few experience, just 4 years, not very huge, but some experience from the grassroots governance. So I'll try to bring some experience from that. I'll try to share them also, whichever will be relevant. We can use as unique example in our ethics, which will be the more practical one. Okay. So some part of this will come in our discussion, some examples. So that was from my side. Today it was just the orientation of ethics. It will start from Monday 8th. First we'll start the first we can say that the section, that ethics and human interface. We'll start with the first topic in Monday. Thank you so much for today's class. See you in Monday.